What's up guys? So before this video begins, I just want to say this video went all over the place. Originally it was going to be, can the PlayStation 5 compete with the Nintendo Switch 2? And then it became why I like the Switch 2 going into it more than I think I'm going to like the PlayStation 5. It was just all over the place. This video doesn't have any structure. Really and truly, this video is just a rant. Really and truly, that's what it turned out into. This video is probably the biggest rant I've done of all time of PlayStation versus Nintendo. No fanboyism, just kind of the way I see it right now. So I guess we're going to talk about this as a PlayStation 5 versus Nintendo Switch 2 type ordeal. I still don't know what I'm going to title this video, just enjoy it. I want to preface this video by saying this is not a fanboy video, alright? As you see, there's this giant wall of PlayStation here. This 3-tiered bookcase is filled with PlayStation 5 games, this one with PlayStation 4, off-screen PlayStation 3, PSP, and PS Vita, and then all behind me you see all these other consoles. My Switch collection's right there, it's not that big. Overall, I am, I guess, more of a PlayStation fan than a Nintendo fan, but this is a topic I really want to talk about. Can the PlayStation 5 compete with the Nintendo Switch 2? Now, if you had told me 8 years ago when the Switch came out that I'd be making this video, I would tell you you're crazy, because I had just uploaded a video 8 years ago, almost to the day, well no, it was a little before, asking if the PlayStation 4 is going to give the Nintendo Switch a chance or if the Switch is just going to get steamrolled. I was very optimistic, but also very critical that the Switch was going to fail. The reason I thought the Switch was going to fail is because we were all burnt out on the Wii U and this whole hybrid system. Why? Who wants it? If you want to talk about it historically, the only people who bought a Wii U was me and like 5 other people, and one of those other people was Satoru Iwata because he just needed to support the company to make sure they don't go out of business. Like, nobody bought a Wii U. And then we saw everything that we saw with the Switch going into launch day. Nobody knew Breath of the Wild was going to be as big as it was. Nobody knew that this console was going to catch on like lightning in a bottle. But then ultimately, the Switch within its first year surpassed every single month in sales the PlayStation 4. And the PlayStation 4 was still at its peak, or it didn't even hit its peak yet. It wouldn't hit its peak until mid-2018. Even with everything coming out, the PlayStation 4 never hit Switch numbers. Ultimately, here we are, the Switch is only like 3 million units away from becoming the highest selling console of all time. So there is no chance that we can ever sit here and say the Switch did not outperform expectations. And now here we are slithering into the next generation of Nintendo. Nintendo is entering the next gen with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. I mean, okay, we know it's going to outsell the Series X. There's no chance that it doesn't. But then when we look at it furthermore, will the PlayStation 5 be able to keep up with the Nintendo Switch going forward? The Switch 2 is hitting the ground running. It's already sold out in every single country that it's already gone up for pre-orders in less than 60 seconds. If you remember, when the PlayStation 5 went up for pre-order, it was up for a couple minutes at a time, which is not to say that's a slow seller, but it did not go out as quick as the Nintendo Switch did, and the Switch has way more stock available than the PlayStation does. Right now, there's a lot of talk about the Nintendo Switch's 2. You know, we're just going to call it the Switch instead of the Switch 2, because that's just too many syllables, but there's a lot of talk going into next gen about all of these games that Nintendo has as exclusives right now. We're talking about Mario Kart World. We are talking about the new game from Software, I forget its name, but it's basically Bloodborne 2. And then we got everything else in the bag. A lot of people are talking, this is a better launch lineup than the PlayStation 5 had. The PlayStation 5, when it launched, it just had Spider-Man and Demon's Souls. That was it. But right now, on my list alone, I got like 6 or 7 different games that I'm picking up day one on the Nintendo Switch 2. Right now, a lot of them slip my mind, but it's going to be Mario Kart World, it's going to be Suikoden 1 and 2, it's going to be, well, that one game they showed, I've already forgot his name, but it's that little RPG thing they showed. It's going to be Bravely Default, it's going to be the From Software game, and then a month after that we got Donkey Kong. This was not the case with the PlayStation 5. With the PlayStation 5, the games that I got, that I remember correctly, it was Demon's Souls, Spider-Man Miles Morales, FIFA, Madden, and that was it. That was all the games I got. Week one, actually that's a lie. I got Spirit of the North as well. And that was all the games I got day one on the PlayStation 5. So all that together, I think the Switch 2 is going to outperform the PlayStation 5 in launch year numbers as well. And then let's talk about hype and momentum as it grows. Everyone and their mother, for whatever reason, has fallen in love with the Switch. You see so many celebrities talk about it every single day. No celebrities talk about the PlayStation 5. The Switch is in rap songs. The Switch is in the biggest songs of the year. Like last year, Sabrina Carpenter, I think it was Juno, I think that was the song that it came out in. But she has a line where it's something, 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 switch it up like Nintendo, something, something, something. You never see nobody, major at least, mention the PlayStation 5 in passing in any form of way in social media, music, movies. It doesn't happen. So going over into this, hype is just going to be out of the roof. Every celebrity and their mother's going to be talking about the Switch 2. So as just a casual perspective, the Switch 2 is going to have way more eyes than the PlayStation 5 did. And now let's talk about the sense of exclusives. Now, look, I love PlayStation. I love it so much, you have no idea. But it's not lost on anybody that right now with the PlayStation 5 under Herman Hulst and beginning with Jim Ryan, those two are the most incompetent people that could have been running PlayStation. This generation, the focus for PlayStation first party has been on graphical fidelity. They don't care about gameplay anymore. They don't care about story anymore. No innovations, nothing at all. And even then, half the time, the gameplay that we get is not very good. Like Returnal, for example. It was a really cool concept of an idea, but the way it was executed, it was just not the best. And then we have Nintendo over here. They do not care about graphics. They sure as hell do not care about performance at all. All they care about is having fun, great stories. And half the time, they don't even care about the stories. They just want to give you a fun game that you can play and get lost in. And that is something that I hate so much that modern PlayStation has completely forgotten about. They no longer care about the game being fun. They just want to say, hey, we got the most powerful box, and here's why. Look at all this ray tracing. Look at all this 4K. You can't get any more 4K than this 4K. People don't care. Everyone plays on performance mode anyways. We don't care. Give us good games. Give us cool stories or don't. Just give us really good gameplay. And that is something PlayStation no longer cares about. And I hate saying that so much because I grew up with PlayStation giving us the most innovative games possible. It was technically not a first party game. Naughty Dog made Crash Bandicoot. They were not owned by PlayStation yet, but Crash Bandicoot innovated. It changed the world of platformers. Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, Jak 3, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, PlayStation 2 came out. It absolutely steamrolled the competition because those games were just fun. And you cannot sit here and tell me the story of Ratchet and Clank made any sense, as well as Jak and Daxter. I could talk about it all day with theories, but that game doesn't make any sense. It was just a really good game. And then PlayStation 3 came out. We got so many legendary series. God of War concluded its historical run. Killzone bloomed into perfection. Infamous pushed the boundaries of what technology was capable of at that time for video games. Resistance had so much going on screen that you couldn't see which way's left and right from all the guns. It was just a great game. PlayStation 4 came out. Once again, it pushed the envelope. You look at Spider-Man today and you think of it in the sense of 2018. How did they manage to do that? That's just mind-blowing. Not just the graphic fidelity, but the story and the gameplay. Everything was so smooth and perfect. And then now here we come to this generation. Everything's only focused about graphic fidelity and performance, and half the time PlayStation don't even care about performance. Look at all the PC launches of PlayStation games recently. They have all fell flat on their face. There's no risk being taken with the games that come out. So this is another point that I'm going to have to give towards the Nintendo's side of it being better than the PlayStation 5. Because you already know, we've already seen it already with this first group of trailers, it's going to come out the ground swinging. We're going to get innovative games. We're going to get games that are just really, really fun. Nintendo has not lost themselves the way PlayStation has. And I'm going to be completely honest, when the Switch 1 came out in 2017, I was 19 years old. Right now, I'm 27 years old. And my life has changed a lot. I travel a lot. I am an engineer. And the job that I have sends me all over the country doing random things. For example, in just a couple of weeks, I'm going to be in Seattle doing some random something there, and then another couple of weeks after that, I'm going to be in Florida, another couple of random weeks after that, I'm off to Mexico. I'm all over the place. And looking at it from my self perspective right now, from my personal opinion, which of the two I think I'm going to like more, I genuinely think it's going to be the Switch 2 because it fits my lifestyle better. I love the PlayStation, alright? I take that PlayStation Portal everywhere. It's going all over the country with me, to several different countries as well, and it's just, I love it. I just wish I could download games. But the Switch 2, we've already seen it with comparisons from all these other groups of people. It is not that far behind the base model PlayStation 5. It's going to play games so good. It's going to get ports of some of the most legendary things possible. I'm going to be able to take it with me wherever I want all over the world and be able to play it and not have to get behind on games. I'm not going to have to sit there and just play games on my phone or the Retroid Pocket or something. I'm going to be able to enjoy things the way they were meant to be enjoyed. And I'm also not going to sit here and flame over the Nintendo Switch 2 because if a PlayStation Portable 2 were to come out and it was to be able to download PlayStation 4 games, some form of PlayStation 5 games, not be focused on streaming, that thing's going with me. I heard the Switch is going back in its little case over there, or I guess dock or whatever, and I'm taking that thing with me, the PSP 2. But the PSP 2 don't exist, and if rumors are to believe, it's not going to exist for several more years. So in the perspective of right now, the way my life is, the way things are going, the Switch 2 is going to end up my main console. I have this bookcase filled with PlayStation 5 games, and it's about to run out of room. I think there's only a handful of PlayStation 5 games that can still fit at most. And honestly, at this point in time, I do genuinely think that when I buy a new bookcase for the Switch 2, that I'm going to have that thing filled to the max within a couple of years. It is not going to be like this. The PlayStation 4, it took the entire generation to fill a bookcase. The PlayStation 5, we're halfway done with the generation and it's already about to be full. I think the Switch 2 is going to fill a bookcase within the first couple of years for me. But that's not because I didn't like the PlayStation 5 or I didn't like the PlayStation 4 or the original Switch. It's just because 19 years old working at Walmart, no money, I was broke, couldn't do nothing. Right now, I'm an infrastructure engineer, or I guess in more simple terms, a DevOps engineer. I have money. I can do whatever I want. I make $203,000 a year. If I want to go out here and I want to buy 5,000 Nintendo Switches for everybody, I can. But now, it's like, I have nothing holding me back for buying games. Genuinely think that Switch 2 is going to get filling up a bookcase way quickly. My backlog is going to be bigger than I could ever expect, and it sucks because it's not like I can play those games in retirement, because I was born in 1997. Gen Z, my generation, we are not going to retire. We'll be working till the day we die. And that's just the thrill of the hunt for me, honest and truly. I love that. I love having games to look at, even if it takes me forever to get around to playing them. Like, for example, right now I'm finishing working through Dragon Quest XI. Bought that game 5+ years ago, never finished it then, started a new playthrough about a month ago, loving that game, about to finish it. This is what I do. I buy a bunch of games, knowing I'm going to play them at some point, even if that some point is years down the line. I have PlayStation 2 games down there that I'm working through right now that I've owned since I was in elementary school, a little kid, like smaller than here. I hit my growth spurt really late. I'm very short, very small kid. There's all these PlayStation 2 games I'm working through right now. So whatever games come out on the Switch 2, I know I'm going to be working through forever and ever. And I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. When games go digital only, I'm hopping off the train. At that point, I'm no longer interested. I might buy 1 or 2 like modern games a year at that point. And there's no point in buying them if there's no physical version at the rate that I do. Because what's the point in buying XYZ digital game when I know I'm not going to play it, like, for years and years down the line? There's no point. So the way my life is fixated right now, genuinely and truly, I think the Switch 2 is going to end up my biggest console, probably of my lifetime at this point. Like, right now, my biggest video game collection is the PlayStation 4. I don't think I've ever said that publicly. It is the PlayStation 4 that is my biggest collection overall. I do think the Switch 2 is going to end up outpacing that by a lot. If you're including digital games that I've bought as well, shoot, I don't even know what my biggest console would be, because I buy so many games that I own physically, again, digitally, when they go on sale for like $1 or $2. I honestly think, that would be hard to tell, because it's either going to be the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation Vita. One of those two. I know my Switch collection is at 108 games. I'm pretty sure my Switch 2 collection is gonna steamroll through that, because I didn't expect my PlayStation 5 collection to get caught up this quickly on PlayStation 4. Just overall games today is just so much better than the past. And that's something I'm so much excited for too. There were so many games the Switch couldn't get because it couldn't run it. And now the Switch 2 is coming out, so we're starting getting all these ports of old games. I'm sure we're gonna get Resident Evil 2, 3, Village, 7, etc. all on Switch. I'm going to play them again, even though I just got them again on PlayStation 5. I'm going to play them on Switch just because I can. But according to my little recording dot, this video is almost 20 minutes long. At this point, I'm just ranting. There's so much to say. I honestly probably should have just done this as a live stream. I'm probably going to do this again in the coming weeks as a live stream. But right now, it's just so much to think about, so much to talk about. This is my current thoughts perspective going into the Switch 2 or the Switch 2 versus the PlayStation 5. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, try not to die, and I'll see you in the next video.